Okay. Hello, everybody. It's Sarah Kumalo, Summits with a Purpose in conversation with Cindy and Laetitia. Today, it's a little bit different. We are talking about making a difference. We're talking about education. We're talking about an amazing project that we are all working on, which is an attempt to break a Guinness World Record. You hear all about it. I'll start, first of all, welcoming my guests. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. And I would love for you to introduce yourselves to the people that are watching us right now and some that will watch this hereafter. Cindy, can I start with you? Who is Cindy Van Wyk?
Sarah, first and foremost, thank you so much for the opportunity to be on Summits with a Purpose. I'm one of your regular intunees. I haven't watched all 21 episodes, but I'm regularly in the background. Who is Cindy? All right, I think the best way to describe me is probably a chameleon. I do a wide variety of things. I started my career in law, and then from law I went into a profession that I knew absolutely nothing about, which is the IT industry, and I've been there for 25 years, doing a wide variety of portfolios, anything from project management to account executives. And I am a writer. I'm an author. I'm a screenplay writer. I do the odd bit of acting now and again. I'm an athlete for cause. You know, when I was little, my mom asked me one day, Cindy, what do you want to be one day when you grow up? And I was about 3 or 4, and I said, Mom, I want to be an actress and a doctor. Now you can already see that spectrum is 180 degrees removed. I'm very blessed. My left and my right brain is balanced. So I oscillate between being very logical and organized to way off the wall creative. And that's wonderful because it gives me opportunity to get involved in a lot of things. And I can't sit still in any case. And I think probably not a label, I often say it's an honor, and I am a breast cancer survivor as well. And I think that's important to note because that speaks to a couple of characteristics that one needs to survive in this life. And that's me in a nutshell.
Okay, it looks like we have technical problems there. Can you hear me, Cindy?
Yes, I can.
All right, ladies, if you're watching this, it's Sarah, and I've got Cindy and Laetitia. Cindy has just introduced herself, and now I'm going to Laetitia. Laetitia, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself? Who is Laetitia De Jager?
Sarah, thank you so much for just for the opportunity to be with you. I am, if you want to know who I am, I'm just incredibly in awe of what you two ladies have done. And I think I'm a strong believer that following and looking at people that have, just shown resilience and shown how they can impact just normal people, just the average person out there that decides I'm going to do something and I'm going to get it right. That's who I follow, and that's those are the people I look up to. So I'm super excited about being here today. I'm an ex-mathematics teacher. I've had quite a few kids that I've taught mathematics to, high school, and 10 years ago, 9 years, almost 10 years ago, I decided that, you know what, I want to do something differently. But I didn't want to lose the education side of me. And so I started working for iSchoolAfrica, where we're busy, where we have different programs and we work in the education field. And that's a lot more me, because that's education, that's business, that's creative, ways to do things in a very creative way. There's just so much, and I don't sit still. So I don't get to sit still at iSchoolAfrica. There's not a day that's the same. And I think that is what I love so much about life. Life is just yeah, it's never the same. And as you say, Cindy, we need different skills, and those skills don't come when everything goes well. And you know, when you're on a very happy-go-lucky path, those skills come when you actually learn, and when you go through stuff in life, and we all go through stuff in life. And so that's, yeah, I'm just the kind of person that really loves being with people, where I see impact and I can see their lives transform people. And yeah, I think that's me.
Okay, thank you, Laetitia. We seem to be having technical problems or struggling to hear you, but if you can hear me, just give me a thumbs up. Cindy, can you hear me? Okay, perfect. All right, cool. I am going to just go to the next question. Cindy, so can you tell us a little bit more about the world record attempt that you are embarking on with me on the 25th of October, 2020. I'm sure our viewers are keen to listen, to understand, to know how they can get involved. If you can talk a little bit more about that.
All right, I think let's start off about who is the current world record holder. The current world record holder are the Brits. So I think given our history between the English and the South Africans, I really, really, really want to break that record and bring that onto home soil. The record attempt that we're attempting is for the most money raised in an 8-hour static cycling event. Currently, the world record is at 31,585 pounds. And we are attempting to raise on the day 1 million rand, which would not just secure the record for us, but it will ensure that we contribute to something that Laetitia most definitely is going to speak about just now. And Sarah, I know literacy is incredibly close to your heart. It is incredibly close to my heart. I've had the opportunities to go to school, to go to university, and to continue my education into whichever sphere I want to develop myself in. And that is a privilege that so many people in South Africa don't have. And I am very, very passionate about that. So how can people get involved? First and foremost, I think it's important to mention that our beneficiary for this event is iSchoolAfrica. And I'm going to let Laetitia chat about what iSchoolAfrica does. But I'm going to invite corporates. They can get involved in a number of ways. They can sponsor a bicycle or a spin bike for 25,000 Rand. They can have up to 4 riders in this. And we are also going to encourage the public to get involved and donate on the day. From the members of the public, any donation is welcome. But we are targeting corporates because I think we also want to instill in corporates that sense of challenge, that sense of camaraderie, challenge your colleagues, challenge your departments. If there are people out in the industry, banks challenge each other. Let the big 5 banks challenge each other. Let the medical aids challenge each other. And I think we've all been so frustrated by being confined in our environments that I personally can't do one more virtual event. I'm wanting to go out there into the physical world again and just be present and participate in this event. So yes, we invite corporates, and that's what we would like to do.
Yeah, thank you, Cindy, for that. I was laughing when you said I'm tired of these Zoom calls and stuff. I want to get out there, itchy feet. You can't climb mountains via Zoom. You have to go out there. So, Laetitia,
Exactly.
Tell us a little bit more about iSchoolAfrica. What is it about? What has it been doing? And what is the vision for iSchoolAfrica?
Okay. So, Sarah, iSchoolAfrica was started in 2009, and it was an initiative that was started by Core Group and by Think Ahead Education Solutions. And we realized that, technology is here to stay. At that point, technology was still like, well, people were like, oh, should we? What are the pros? What are the cons? I think after COVID, everyone kind of knows that there's no option. It is part of life. Okay. So for the last 10 years, we've been working towards getting schools geared for what happened in COVID. Now, iSchoolAfrica mainly works in under-resourced schools. So we're trying to change lives by taking technology into the schools, training teachers how to use it, and giving learners skills so that they can move up through high school, tertiary education, finding a job, and actually having digital skills that they need to make it out there. Now, there's a lot more to it than just giving someone an e-reader. And our director, Michelle Lessus, figured that one out very long time ago. And it's not about just giving a device to someone and say, oh, all your textbooks are on here, so you can read it. Yeah. It really is, I know, it really is using technology to empower teachers and to assist learners to just find a different way of looking at education. And if we use technology in a clever way, we can do that. So we've managed in the last 10 years to go into over 250 schools. And we literally have given over 100,000 learners access to technology, really good, solid technology. We've trained about 3,500 teachers. And what is so amazing about that is that teachers don't always stay in one school. So they go from school to school and they take those skills with them, which means, they will then train other teachers and they will be able to train other kids and take what they've learned to many more schools. Yeah. We have a footprint in every province in the country, so we're across the country. And I think that is what's so exciting for me, the fact that we do something that not a lot of other NGOs do. We go into rural areas that are very, very deep rural. They always there's a joke amongst the NGOs, and they always say, rural starts where, or usually people stop working where the tar road stops. And the tar road, well, we sometimes don't know about tar where we go. And you drive and you get there, and and it's an amazing thing because you do really get to impact lives where they don't expect to be impacted. People don't expect people to come in there with the best technology that you can give them. They don't expect a solution because everybody thinks when you need technology, you need internet. Now, don't get me wrong, internet makes it so much easier, any solution, and you can go a lot further with it. But we go in with an offline solution so that by the time those kids actually gain the skills and they do get to a place where there is internet, they've got the skills. So we've never let those challenges become the problem. We've overcome those challenges and we found ways to go into rural areas and areas where, there's just no connectivity. And our heart really is to change lives. We just do it with technology in education.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. I absolutely love the fact that 3,500 teachers have been trained on this. Just allow me to welcome Hannes Villion. He says, go Sarah. Thank you, Hannes. This is a challenge for you, and I'm hoping that you'll be spinning for us. Hannes is the CEO of Momentum Health.
So there we go. Challenge on.
So from my side, Laetitia, why I'm passionate about education and why I've partnered with you and Cindy on this one is because I just believe that education is the equalizer. And I think from 2013, when I started raising money for literacy and education, it was very clear to me that alone I can make a very small impact, but with other people, a little bit of a bigger impact. And that's why for me, it's important to use the partnerships of people that are watching and people like you that are doing amazing work and people like Cindy that also are passionate about education, because as a collective, we can leave a gift for the next generation. So with this initiative, just maybe going back to where did it start? So in 2017, after I came back from the death zone on Everest, I came home and I actually stopped writing letters to ask for funding. And I remember chatting to Cindy and other people about this, and I was saying, you know, I'll just wait and save up. And when I get money in 2020, I'll go back to Everest. And Cindy came up with an idea and said, why don't we challenge the Guinness World Record and actually raise money for you to go back to Everest? And then when you come back, we raise money for me to cycle from Cairo to Cape Town. And actually, yes. And this is where this started. But obviously, I went to Everest in 2019. I didn't need to use the initiative, but we thought we should still use it to raise money for education. And we are so excited to partner with you, iSchoolAfrica, as well as Momentum Multiply and Planet Fitness to make this a reality. But having said that, this partnership is the foundation. The people watching at home, the people out there, people like Hannes Verlew, and some of your clients that want to give back can use this to ensure that we make sure the next generation is digitally equipped to meet the challenges of tomorrow. So having said that, why education, Cindy? Why is education important to you?
Sure, Sarah, an hour is not going to be long enough to explain why education is important to me. I think education is you say it's an equalizer. It is the foundation of the future. If we do not equip our children today and give them access not just to education, but teach them digital skills, because this is living in a digital world is the new normal. It's just going to continue from here onwards. You know, I take myself back. I was about three years old when I got tired of asking my granny or my grandpa or my mom or my dad to read stories to me. And I said to my granny, teach me to read. Yeah. So that I can read for myself. And I had a granny that said to me, but you're only 3. And I said, it doesn't matter. I want to be able to read, because if I can read, I can go off on adventure. So you see, yeah, where the fantasies come from. But education, if it wasn't for my granny that taught me to read, and she taught me to read through books, and that was my start to education. It was a granny that was passionate about teaching me to read, and I am passionate about making sure that not just kids, we have a huge part of our population in South Africa in the adult sphere that can't read or write. So I'm also very, very passionate about adult education and making sure that our gogos out there can read, that they can take a book, a magazine, and they can read it and not just look at pictures. It is the great equalizer, but it is the foundation to the future for kids out there. Without education, we are not going to ensure that the disparity that there is in the world, not just in South Africa or Africa, if we don't make sure that people are educated, we will never close that gap. And we're going to lose opportunities in people.
Yeah.
You never know when the next Pulitzer Prize winner or scientist or a genius is going to come from a little town in Limpopo, for argument's sake, because we're not reaching these people. And there is so much potential out there. There is so much potential out there.
Yeah, agreed. Laetitia, I'm going to come back to you. One of the things that we have decided on this initiative is to include schools that have special needs as one of the beneficiaries for the digital libraries that we plan. So for those of you that have just joined us, we are talking about a Guinness World Record spin-a-thon attempt that we are doing on the 25th of October 2020. And we are hoping to raise at least 1 million rands that will go to digital libraries in the 9 provinces around South Africa. But one of those schools is going to be a school that has students with special needs. This is all about inclusivity. Laetitia, what is inclusivity in your world, and why is it important to you?
Sorry, it is almost the heart of iSchoolAfrica, if you want to put it that way. We go to places that have been forgotten, where people don't go, and often our learners with challenges have been forgotten in a way. There are schools for learners with disabilities, and those schools don't have enough teachers. They don't have enough people to actually look after the kids. They get a very second-rate kind of watered-down education, and not, I don't actually even know why, but we have never really focused on inclusion the way that we should and the way that they deserve to be focused on. So for iSchoolAfrica, we've got our own inclusion program. We use iPads, and the accessibility features on an iPad is so incredible. Apple has really gone beyond to make sure that the features on an iPad can directly impact the learner in so many ways. So whether it is speak screen or whether it is just the Zoom function, whether dyslexia, keyboards, it really doesn't matter. There's something for every person with a challenge. And so we're incredibly passionate about that. And this for me is a very similar kind of inclusion. There are so many sports out there where they've already been able to actually showcase how people with challenges can overcome it. This is what we do. We overcome challenges, right? You guys have overcome incredible challenges. We want to teach kids that there is absolutely nothing wrong with them. There is just challenges that need to be overcome in different ways. And that's why we do what we do. So including inclusion or inclusive schools in our event is one of the most important things that I can think of. We need to make sure that South Africa understand that there is space for everybody, and everybody here has potential, and everybody in our country has a place and has the ability to be a citizen that give in their own way, that can participate in many ways, that can, we need to be behind the line and actually just shout till they decide or till they realize how important they are in our country. And we don't often do that. So I wish I could explain the passion behind our facilitator. We've got our inclusive facilitator, Chelsea, and she's just incredible. And the way that she has taken on this month is actually Deaf Awareness Month, and we've got a couple of different projects. But if you look at her, you cannot not turn away and think, okay, fine, this is not one of the most important things in our country right now. And so education for me is, it's number one on a priority list, because if you think of Maslow, and the priorities and what we need in life. You can't survive without understanding how to, or without actually have knowledge of something. And education is knowledge. It's just knowledge that, in different ways that we pass on. How do you survive without that? So at the very basic level of needs, there's education. And to add to that, just bringing people in that have for so many years been told that they're just not good enough and that they can't contribute. That's not dignity we want to restore that dignity. We want to bring that on board. And so inclusion is just, it's almost what I can say, the heart of iSchoolAfrica. We skip a beat if it's not part of what we do.
Yeah, wow, that is amazing and very exciting, and I can relate to it so much, and I'm excited. And for those of you that are watching, and if you would like to actually get involved, you could potentially donate funds to sponsor 1 or 2 bikes that will be actually ridden by one of the special needs individuals that will also contribute to raising funds for a library for one of the schools. Having said that, you talk about challenges and inclusion, and I was just reminded about Cindy as a cancer survivor. Things that you've had to go through, and you rise, you're now an author, you've just written a book. How do you relate to what you've gone through and how you've managed to keep standing with what we're going through with COVID and not knowing what tomorrow brings, the resilience that's required for the two? Any similarities? Have you been able to draw from that at all?
Yes, Sarah. So I think first and foremost, I think you start off by having a heart of gratitude, that every day is a gift. Yeah. Every day that you wake up and you can open your eyes and you can breathe in air, no matter what you're going through. So whether you're preparing to go for chemotherapy, or whether you're preparing to face the challenging time that we're going through in COVID, it's the same thing. You have to get up. You have to show up. You have to be present. It's not easy. So my cancer journey, fortunately, I think, having done a lot of extreme adventures before being diagnosed with cancer, during my cancer journey, I almost in my mind equated this to running the comrades. Small, there's a program, you need to be present, you need to make sure you show up, and it's not easy. And there's times when I felt going through chemo that sure, this is tough. This is difficult. This was one of the most difficult challenges that I ever had to face. But I forced myself, because giving up has never been a word in my vocabulary. Have I failed in my life? Yes, many a times. Have I given up? No, because out of every failure, you learn something new about yourself, another level, another depth that you didn't know existed. When I was going through chemo, I couldn't really cycle. I couldn't run. I just had a knee replacement the year before that. But I would sit on my trainer with a bucket. And even if I could just cycle 10 minutes, and even if I vomited 5 times in that 10 minutes, and I would push it to eventually to be an hour, and that builds a resilience. But it also, one must never forget that there's humor in everything, no matter what you go through. And many people have said to me, gosh, where's the humor in cancer, or where's the humor in COVID? I think it's the ability just to see life from a different perspective, and to realize that we are here for a purpose and for a reason. And whatever you're faced with, you can rise above that. But once again, it's not a single person journey. I had an amazing tribe. To quote you, I had amazing tribe, including yourself, that saw me through my hair falling out. That was there, going on hikes with me with a baldy head. It's not something you do on yourself. So, and even now in COVID, I want to encourage people, if you are feeling that this is too much, you don't have to go it alone. There are people around you. And I think that is what's given me a lot of strength and a lot of resilience, is the fact that I have not walked any of these journeys alone. And I'm going to publicly say it here. Our Heavenly Father has been with me through every step of the way. And without him, I couldn't do this.
Yeah. I agree. That's why yeah, it does. And I'm very proud to be, your partner on this journey. And I'm hoping that the resilience will see us through 8 hours of spinning.
Oh, yes.
So, if I go back to your confirmation that you need a tribe, I'll bring it back to the libraries that we are trying to build and the fact that we cannot do them alone. How important is collaboration for this project, Laetitia?
So, Sarah, we are, because we collaborate. Yeah. We've collaborated, for example, with the iStore and with so many other corporate companies, and with the Department of Rural Development and Land Reform from government side, Department of Education. We need people to make sure that we can change this situation in education. It is a crisis, doesn't matter how we look at it. And COVID has really just shown us how unequal it's literally given the inequalities of what's going on in our system on a plate and said, do you see this? And so with these highlighted inequalities, you can't look at it and think it's gonna be solved overnight. And I think we've always had South Africans, a lot of South Africans have had this idea of government's going to fix it. It's their job. Well, it's not going to happen because it's a massive job. It is. There are so many schools out there. So every project, every NGO, every group of people that have something to bring to change the situation that we're in this country at the moment, they're all welcome. We need everybody. But what iSchoolAfrica has realized, we've realized there's no way we can go out there without funders. We need funding, and that funding really comes from corporates. Without that, we're unable to do what we do. We have had incredible people on people on our list of funders are amazing. I always say I've got the best job because, yes, a part of my job is to go out and find funding, but I get to work with corporate social investment people. Now, they're not there because they difficult people. They're there because they've got a heart for people. And those are the most amazing people to work with, And the companies that we've partnered before, we've got a long list on our website, but the people that we've worked for have really partnered with us, not just by giving us money and say, go do your thing, but by actually getting involved in the project. So they come and see the schools. They come and meet the teachers. They speak to the kids. They really want to, they walk the talk. It's not just a kind of a hit and run, we're going to tick the boxes thing. It's really just amazing people with a heart for the country, and they believe in education. And that is why they partner with us. So collaboration between entities in this country is, in my, the way I see it, one of the most important factors that we need to take into account if we're going to change the status quo of education in this country.
Yeah. Fantastic. I agree with that. I think that's why we are lucky, especially with this project, to partner with Planet Fitness and Momentum Multipliers as a starting point. But that is not enough. We need more and more people to come in, every little bit counts. Maybe you come in and ride with us so that we make sure that we get that record. By the way, the current record, who is holding the current record, Cindy? Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about that.
The current record, Sarah, is being held by Britain. And the current record amount is £31,583.
Okay.
Which doesn't sound a lot, but in terms of the guidelines from GWR, we obviously, if we're sitting at, I don't even know what the pound exchange rate is at the moment, so let's say 20 or 19 or 21, on the day of the event, the rate of exchange that is applicable on that day. So first and foremost, we must pray that on the weekend of the 25th that we have a favorable exchange rate. It will go a little bit further. So we've got a huge task ahead of us, apart from sitting on a bicycle for 8 hours. I'm a little bit more familiar with that, but it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, but I think that is the beauty, and that's why I'm so excited about it, because for every pedal stroke that you give, you are giving back to somebody, and you're making a difference in somebody else's life. And I have, my love language is service. So I love to serve people. And I firmly believe that if serving is below you, then leadership is not for you. And so I want to challenge corporates out there to say, guys, come and cycle with us. Come and serve. Come and pedal for education. Every 360 degrees that pedal goes round, you have contributed to somebody having an education. And what a wonderful, fun way of we'll have some bums, but what a wonderful way of making sure that we are serving the people that need it most. And of course, I just want South Africa to be the record holder of this and not the Brits anymore.
Yeah. I'm listening to you, and I'm thinking about one of my favorite quotes that says, if you're planning for 1 year, you must plant rice or maize, which is our staple food. If you're planning for 10 years, plant trees. But if you are planning for 100 years, you must invest in the children, must invest in education. And that is what this is. It's investment in 100 years. What is that 25,000 rands if it's going to actually liberate and ensure it empowers the next generation? It is next to nothing. So I also want to just let the viewers know it's not going to be a virtual event. It's going to be in 4 Planet Fitness. We're going to have a Planet Fitness in Johannesburg with 20 riders. We know we are in level 1, but we'll try and ensure that there is social distancing for everybody's safety. There's going to be a Planet Fitness in Pretoria, and we're also going to have one in Cape Town, as well as Durban. So it's not unlimited seats, very limited seats, and first come, first serve. Come spin with us and let's make a difference. And talking about digital literacy, I know, Laetitia, you touched on it a little bit more. I have raised funds for physical libraries, 5 to be specific. And I just want to understand this digital literacy, apart from it being maybe apps or material, content that we give to students. What more are you doing for these schools that we are actually donating the libraries to?
Okay, so Sarah, I think giving them the books are amazing, and kids still do need books. By all means, we need to make sure that they get them. But the digital part of it comes back to giving or to empowering through a tool. So the actual iPad will be a tool, right? This tool will enable them to gain skills, for example, just skills that they're going to need throughout their education career, but as also later on, just in a normal life situation, and when they have a job one day. So we're looking at things like creativity. We need to look at things like problem solving. Can I look at a problem? Can I find a creative solution for it? Can I communicate with the people in my group so that we can actually get to that problem solving, and so that we can appreciate our creativity and our different ways of looking at things? Can we analyze the problem? That's a really good one in the beginning. Coming from a mathematical point of view, everyone goes maths, and the teachers, the kids in high school go, hate maths. But ultimately, maths is really just a whole lot of problem solving that you've got to do, but you've got to understand and analyze before you can do it. And if you don't understand that's what you've got to do, you just see this as another problem, then, it stops you right there. So we're also looking at the skills that you need to actually be successful in life. Now, to get those, to invest in learners and to get them to acquire those skills, we use technology. So we use different apps that will help them create, there's creation tools on there. We have apps that will help them put projects together, do research. By the way, we're also giving, as part of this package, we will make sure that there is connectivity at the school for at least a year project, or for at least a year. There will be a lot of additions to this, and the library as such will have access to every book that they can possibly need throughout the education period in that school, so for those school years. And Snaplify will come on board, and they will help us set up those libraries so that there is literally, it's kind of like borrowing a book and taking it back. You've got so many days, and with that come responsibility and accountability and the skills that we need to teach. So digital skills refer to literally using a piece of technology so that you know how to use it. So it's end user technology or end user computing skills. So can I use Pages or Word? Can I use a Keynote, or can I make a Keynote presentation? Can I make a PowerPoint presentation? I always have to think of the not so Apple names. So all those are amazing skills, and that's what they're going to learn, as well as actually being, having access to the actual books. Now, just to bring it back to why it's so important, why we want to focus on literacy. Our kids are falling out of the bus later in all their subjects because they do not understand their English. So a lot of our learners have to study in a language that could be their second, third, fourth, or fifth language, right? Yeah. If you had to ask me to study in Zulu, I would also fall out of the bus, and it wouldn't take me that long. And we expect our learners to do that. So if we can't find a way to help them acquire functional English when they're in grade 1, 2, and 3, we're going to lose them. And this is why, this is just one of those little, one of the issues that we have at the moment. We don't want to take away their own language at all. We want to work with that so that we can help them just get into a digital way of doing things, which is most of the time, related, where they relate in English to apps and to gaming and to a whole lot of other aspects of the technology. But they can't do any of it if they can't read and if they don't understand. Yeah. So we start with language, and that's exactly what we're going to do in our primary schools. We're going to give them libraries so that they can start with the literacy, and then we build on that the longer we are in the schools. And I think, just to reiterate again, we're not a dump and run kind of program. So we're going to go in there and we're going to train the teachers, and we're going to keep training and mentoring the teachers, and we'll baseline the learners, and we'll find out, what the impact has been after a couple of months in terms of literacy, and as well as numeracy, by the way, because there's amazing numeracy apps as well that's going to come with this. But the focus is the library aspect of it and the literacy. But because it's digital, we can give them anything we really want. I mean, we can. It's wide open for them, and it's a never-ending resource.
Yeah. Thank you for that. As you were speaking, and I just remembered somebody that's a potential donor saying to me, it's a donation. What security is going to be in place to ensure that these, whether it's iPads or the technology that's put into this rural school, is actually there tomorrow, knowing the security issues that we currently have around the country?
Absolutely. That is one of the key issues for anyone that wants to donate, and that has to, for a lot of our corporates, that's a huge thing. Now, we have never delivered an iPad without understanding what the safety, what kind of safety measures they have in place, and we don't go anywhere if there is not a massive or a Chubb safe, a walk-in Chubb safe that no one can get into. The Department of Education usually gives a security guard that is there during nighttime. It all depends on the province, of course. So we go in and we make sure that there are safes and teachers that they understand the protocol, and then we also help them in terms of sign in, sign out procedures, how to take care of those iPads, how to make sure that they're always in a safe place, that they get locked away. So there's a lot of education that goes with that. The other thing that we also do is all of these iPads will be on a mobile device management system. So, we'll have them licensed on an MDM system. And what this does for us is literally from Sandton, we can see where those iPads are and when they go online. We can't see what they do on the iPads. I mean, that's against the, the privacy rules, but we can see when they're online and when they're not. And when an iPad gets stolen, we literally just let Apple know, and they track those serial numbers or IMEI numbers. And we have had iPads stolen. I mean, it's a problem out there. Not a lot, but we've had, if I can put it to you this way, of all our iPads, we've only had, and this includes breakages, about a 3% loss. So that is almost nothing for the schools that we've been in. But we've actually been able to track iPads and get them back. So we had recently iPads stolen out of a school and in Diepsloot, and we were able to track them all the way back to Mozambique. So we got them back.
Wow.
And imagine that.
Wow.
Never thought I'd be able to actually say that, but it happened. We got our iPads back. And it didn't take that long because there's a system in place. And that is another reason why we work with what we work with.
Yeah. Just adding to that, Apple devices every now and again become obsolete. What is the plan? After how long should the school actually expect to reinvest to ensure that they have devices that are relevant and are still workable in terms of the work that they need to do with students? Okay.
So basically, I mean, we've always gone in with an offline solution, right? And we've been doing, the iPads have been in schools now for 6-7 years, right? We still have iPad 2s working in our rural schools in certain areas in the country. They got the iPads first. They cannot update those anymore, but they're still using the apps that are on there. They're still using the content creation apps. They're still producing projects. They are still using the iPads. They haven't become completely obsolete. The only difference is they can't add apps that have been developed on later iOS platforms. So basically what we need, if we go in with a new iPad, we've got at least another 5 to 6 years before we're going to get to a place where we can't use the apps that we're giving them now. We really do, because Apple it's an amazing ecosystem, but just the way that they work, you can literally keep working for another 5-6 years before we have to think of replacing anything.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you for that. Cindy, you were saying something.
To say, yeah, which means that there's a lifespan of 5 or 6 years. You can literally see a primary school child go through primary school with that piece of technology.
Yes, sorry. Yeah, that is what excites me. Yeah. Laetitia?
Sorry, I didn't actually hear what Cindy said.
No, what I
so Cindy was actually.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you hear me? No, what I was saying is coming back to Sarah's question around what is the duration before something becomes obsolete, and hearing you say that there's a lifespan of 5 or 6 years excites me, because we can literally take a primary school child through primary school education on a device before it becomes obsolete. I mean, that is a massive ROI.
Yeah,
that is
it is.
A huge
and
return on investment.
You know, the thing is, it's not going to stop working in 5 years' time either. You know, they will still be able to use it on the system that we're giving them. We might not be able to update everything and, you know, bring brand new apps on, but what they will have is something that is 1,000 times more than what they've got right now. And that will go on for a couple more years. And so for, you know, as long as they don't break or lose this iPad device, they will be able to learn from it, do research on it for a long, long time. And the little ones don't do that much research in the beginning. It is really a tool to get them used to technology and to focus on the literacy. And the literacy rules and the games, those things don't change. So you go from one grade 1 group to another grade 1 group, and it stays new for every new grade 1 group. We might become really tired of the same app, and I believe you me, I do, but they don't. You know, they don't. To them, it's something new and it's exciting, and it's made for them, for that age group. And yeah, they just, their faces say it all when you put this in front of them, and they realize that this app can give them immediate feedback. You know, so they make a mistake, and the app says to them, whatever character on the app, we've got Anna says to them, no, that's wrong, try again. And when they get it right, they get this amazing applause of, whoa, you got it right. And it's so, I mean, the one story or a little bit of feedback that I can give you that one of our principals gave to us was, it's a small little primary school in Limpopo. And she said to us, you know, we always tell learners that they do well, and that's okay. But we've never really celebrated our learners as much as we do now. She says her teachers had to go out. They realized that they would have to go out and buy little stars and smiley faces, you know, stickers. And that they are now putting stickers in the learners' books, because the learners get so excited when they get a, whoa, how, you know, you did it. Well done. Keep going on the iPad, that they just don't want to stop doing the work. And now they're starting to actually doing that in practice. And again, it's just those amazing things that come from, you know, you're trying to teach a child literacy, but what you're actually doing is changing the mindset of a person that's been standing doing something the same way for the last 25 years, and it's not working anymore because our kids are changing. And now they're changing with this. And our teachers are amazing. And for anyone out there that says our Gogos cannot teach because they're too old, or teach with technology, and I'm too old, I'm born before technology, that kind of thing that I get a lot from teachers. Our best teachers are still the older generation that couldn't care less what the kids think of them when they make mistakes. He's so over it, but they're just loving what happens in front of them when those kids get an iPad and those little eyes shine, you know, and it's amazing. Their whole bodies body language change, and the bodies little vibrate, and they kind of like, I love this. And the teachers get a big smile on their faces, because that's why they became teachers, to make a difference.
Yeah.
And often we forget it, and often we get kind of trapped in our daily life of, we don't have resources, we don't have this, we can't do this for our kids, what are we going to do? And then something as small as that can change your way of seeing or understanding why you became a teacher again. And it just, gives them hope again. So it's little things like that that just makes this program also very, very exciting. So I can't wait to get into our 9 primary schools.
Wow. I feel like let's go ride already. This is exciting.
Yes, it's gone.
So ladies, it's been amazing. We have 5 minutes to go, but I can't go without congratulating Cindy on Stories for Mama. You just launched a book with a few other authors that's hitting the shelves. I think it's on Amazon already.
It's on Amazon already, yes, Sarah.
Okay.
This was an amazing project. Our compiler, Yaya Rudo, contacted me about a year ago, and she said to me, I heard you speaking at a TED Talk, blah, 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 and I want you to contribute to a book, Stories for Mama. And it will be stories from across the world on how your mom played a part in your life, that you can take a step back and say, if it wasn't for my mom, I wouldn't be here today. So Stories for Mama is an amazing compilation
Cindy, there's something that you're doing, and then you become not audible. So
can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes, thank you.
Okay, I think it's because I get too excited. Let me just so Stories for Mama is a wonderful compilation. We're 8 authors across Africa all the way into Europe that have paid tribute to our mothers. It's a collection of short stories. My story is the very last story in the book. It's called The Blanket and the Mustard Seed. And that speaks to my faith and my mother's faith. And when I was going through my cancer treatment, I didn't see her because I didn't want her to see me suffer. So I gave her a little task, and I said to her, please crochet me a pink blanket for my bed. And when I did when I had my last radiation therapy, she phoned me and she said to me, your blanket is finished. And that blanket is not just a representation of my mom's love. It's a representation at the age of 79 with her hands full of arthritis, taking up a task, being resilient in finishing that, and knowing that. And I look at that and I am hopeful every day. And I want to tie back to what you said, Laetitia, about hope. I think as a cancer survivor, or as resilience, what resilience teaches you, and that is a lesson that you teach and carry forward to other people, is hope. So Stories for Mama are all stories of hope and of love.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you. On that note, yes, Cindy, you want to say something?
Yes, I know time's up, but it's Stories for Mama is one of those wonderful projects. It's not a for-profit project. Yes, it is on Amazon, but it is there to help and to heal and to restore hope.
Yeah.
And I just like to end off with that.
So maybe we should just make sure that your Stories for Mamas are on all the iPads that go out, because the teachers will also be using the iPads, and they will also be able to get it. Sounds like a plan.
I will make that available to you. Wonderful.
That is very cool. I love it. So thank you so much for the people that have joined us. I'll give you ladies a minute each to tell us how people can get involved, and maybe Cindy quickly, and then Laetitia, and we can say goodbye. Cindy, how can people get involved?
Well, I think first and foremost, go to iSchoolAfrica's website. The information is on there. Connect with Sarah. Sarah, I call you Sarah, but in public, let's call you Sarah. Connect with Sarah online. Connect with me online. Yes, let's make this happen.
Fantastic. Laetitia, how can people get involved? I know that you are collecting the information of people that are interested. How can they get hold of you? How can they know a little bit more? And anything that you would like to share at this point?
Okay, so basically, please go to our website, like Cindy said. Yeah. There is a little icon on the homepage that will take you straight through to the webpage. It just says learn a little bit more about the spin-a-thon. So put in your details, submit it. It will come straight through to me, and I will contact you. And if it is for 25,000 Rand for a bike, and it could be for more than 25,000 Rand for a bike too, there are seriously amazing things that come with taking 3, 4, 5, 6, and 10 bikes, promise. Yeah. So if you want to come and you want to, you submit, we'll get back to you within 12 hours, and we'll take you from there. But just for the rest, if you want more information on iSchoolAfrica, please just, you are welcome to email me directly. It's Laetitia.dejager@iSchoolAfrica.com, or plain, straight, simple info@iSchoolAfrica.com, and I will get back to you immediately.
Fantastic. So what Laetitia meant to say is, if you're sponsoring about 10 bikes, your name could end up in the Guinness World Record. What an awesome opportunity. You can come and brand the bicycles during the time that we are spinning, and your staff members, you don't have to do the whole 8 hours. They could come 4 of them, do 2 hours each at a time. And this is not racing at all. It's just making sure that bum is in the seat for 8 hours. Easy peasy. And we bring the record back to Africa from the British. I'm excited. That excites me more than anything. So ladies, thank you for joining us. And people out there, Momentum Multiply, Planet Fitness, and iSchoolAfrica, thank you for believing in our project. Thank you for trusting us with this project. And I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping that we don't only raise the 1 million Rand, but raise 2, because we can. Thank you and goodbye.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.